What's up, everybody? Steve here. I1 Fitness. Saturday evening, 5:30. I'm heading down to the gym. Gonna hit some legs. And I wanted to touch on something. Again, I'm gonna reiterate a lot of this stuff over time because it's the facts of the matter. Over 40-year-olds or people my age working out and giving it 110% and all this and that. But everything you do, you've got to do, and I've talked about this in other videos too, having a more methodical approach to the things you do, listening to your body, all that. I preach it all the time. I probably will preach it all the time because I know it's necessary for me. It's a big part of my my life and lifestyle because it has to be. The camera's going to shake a little bit here because it's on the dashboard. And it makes me think about my Uncle Joe. My Uncle Joe passed a few years back. He was 80 years old. But right up to the point when he was 80, I mean, he really was in good health. He always was in pretty good health. His knees were a little tired, things like that. And I remember I used to watch him as a younger man and as a kid. Whether it was, I used to spend a lot of time over there. They had a swimming pool, and we kind of grew up. My whole family kind of grew up over there. And watching him move around, whether it be working on the pool or working in the yard or doing some kind of a project, he always moved slow and methodically. He always took a lot of deep breaths. And it seemed to be, and I remember wondering as a kid, or not wondering, but just noticing that, that's how he moved. Not necessarily super slow, but calculated. And I think as we get older, and I look at it now, I'm in my 40s, and I realize, how as we progress in life, we have to start calculating what we do. For example, when you were a kid, if you were to be standing on a high stoop or on a porch or something and you wanted to get down, you just jumped down. As we get older, when you're standing that same 3-foot rise off the ground, you're thinking, I better think about this, or make sure that I prepare myself to land and make sure, or maybe I won't jump at all. Maybe I'll just kind of ease on down. Maybe I'll take the steps. Point of it is you calculate your moves a little more because something inside your psyche and your body and the connection between the two tells you that, I could hurt myself. I could twist a knee. I could twist an ankle. I'm not as young as springtime, so to speak, you hear people say. And it's the truth. It's not a doom and gloom thing that I'm talking about. It seems like I talk a lot about this. It's just because I'm over 40, and what I like to do with the gym and things like that is fairly aggressive. It's really physical, and I find that I have to prepare myself and gear myself for it differently than maybe I would have 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And that's just the reality of it. It's not depressing necessarily because you're a little wiser, but you just have to think about it. I'm going down here to do legs today, for example. I'm already thinking about it hours ahead. I'm already engaging in the process of thought. I'm thinking about it. And then, I may be supplementing towards it that day. And when preparing my food, I'm thinking, what's my body going to respond to, whether it's oatmeal and eggs or whatever it is that I'm eating. I'm thinking about that workout later on and how it's applied to my, energy levels required and so on and so forth. It's all part of that very methodical approach that you have to things you do, especially, I'm going to take a turn here, especially physical things. It's just a matter of being a little smarter, a little bit more calculated about what you do. And when I look back and I think about my Uncle Joe, I remember him doing that, and I'm thinking, that's probably what he was doing. I find myself taking a lot of deep breaths. Not because I don't think my lungs are in bad shape. I used to be a smoker. I quit quite a few years ago now, but I mean, I think it's just maybe your body requires a little more oxygen, or to do the things you want to do. So it's something to think about. And I encourage you, if you're getting a little older, you still should do all the things you want to do, and I don't think you should ever shut down. You know, my father's in his 60s. He works every day. I mean, he does it so that he keeps moving, and I think that's necessary. I think you should never give up. I just think you have to calculate the moves you make a little more with each passing year. So it's important for you guys to know that. Still push yourself. Still take it to the highest level that you're capable of, because you still have to reach, you know, in order to get, you know, the results and things you want to achieve. And you need to push yourself, but calculate your movements. You know, think about it a little bit more in depthly, and so on. See a couple guys coming out of the gym there that I know. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to go in here and hit some legs. I'll talk to you guys soon.